Hi everybody, this is the second end paper video, and in this video I'm going to show you how to do the folio single sheet sewn on end paper section, which is probably my most generally used, or the end sheet that I find most generally useful. I mentioned in the first video Philip Smith's book New Directions in Bookbinding and his pages of his diagrams of end papers. So I thought, since I have it, I might as well show it to you. So here is Philip Smith, New Directions, first edition, signed. But here are his diagrams of end papers. I'm going to let this go for a few seconds so you can take a look, maybe zoom in. 2 more pages, plus overcast cloth or overcast joints, all kinds of stuff. He was a very technical guy, and that's it. But if you have a chance to come across a copy, even if technically what he's doing is not what you're doing, I have found this book to be an inspiration and a really just a huge asset, just in terms of seeing what other people can do and some of the possibilities that we won't necessarily see. In this is kind of, it's not pre-artist's book, but this is a period when, you know, artist books were becoming more, you know, kind of starting to come of age. But this is a similar mindset based on traditional binding structures, which is, you know, the kind of thing that I really like. So anyway, New Directions in Bookbinding. It's scarce, but you can come across it, and it's worth having on the shelf if you can come across it, if you can find it. Okay, we're getting redundant here, so let's do some work. All right, so for this end paper section, we have a folio, blank folio. Okay, I said this before, I'm going to say it again. I'm going to harp on it. Cut all your end papers larger than the text block. Assemble them and then trim them to size. That's the way that you're going to get end papers that, you know, are sized correctly. So we got a folio, we got a single sheet, and we have a strip of Japanese paper. Now my go-to for structural purposes is Okawara, either machine made or handmade. I use them both, but it's a really strong, got nice substance to it, and it's going to be durable. So this I'm going to fold in half the long way to start, and you'll notice I'm not folding it exactly in half. I don't know how strong the rationale is, but that way, when it's under the paste down, it'll kind of fare down. You won't get quite as sharp an edge. A detail, but details are what we're all about here. All right, hinge strip, folio, single sheet. Now, the other thing that I want to show you, which I don't think I've shown you before, is tipping, not of cows, but of paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hang this. Can you see that? No. I am going to move the camera. Okay. Is that looking pretty good? There we go. That's my stomach, sorry. So the way that I was taught, and I find it pretty sensible, is you hang your paper over the edge of the bench, just a little bit. And I'm going to do all 3 of these guys. All right, so each one becomes the mask, or the, you know, the barrier for the one below it. And then a piece of waste paper. All right, everybody see that? Go back just a little bit. Now this I'm doing with PVA. You could do it with paste. Reversibility in a excuse me, a built end paper isn't super critical, which is why, you know, for end papers, PVA is fine. All right, so I'm going to take my charged brush, lightly charged, 2 strokes, well, 4 strokes. Throw your waste sheet away. Put this aside. I'm going to push everything ahead. And now I'm just going to bring this back like this. You want to keep your tip fairly narrow. There's a point of diminishing returns, of course, as there are with all things. And then this gets tipped just a little beyond, okay? And helps to kind of hold everything down. There's cat hair in there, but this is not going to be anything that's going in a book. So, all right, and then I'm just going to put this under weight. Where's the brick? Or a rock? Or a flat iron. We'll give that a couple of minutes. Actually, won't even need a couple of minutes. To dry. If you were doing this with paste, this would have to, you know, would take longer to dry. You'd probably leave it under weight for 20 minutes or half an hour. All right. I think we're good. So you can see that. See that? Not terribly neat. Now, I'm going to put the folio, if you're right-handed, put the folio on your left, on the left side, single sheet on the right side. Grab your trusty straight edge. Okay. Put your folder against the edge of the folio. Same here. Crease. Come under the hinge too, and then just work this up against the edge of the straight edge. There goes Mort. Later. Keep going. Take your tail. Thank you. Then you can gently fold this. Okay. And so here we have the hinge strip doubled. So you get a little more, got a little more to sew through down here. Okay. The paste down. The opening. And there's the center of the folio. Now, sewing stations. So once this is done, then it gets trimmed on the board shear to the exact size of the text block. Okay, and I'm going to obviously forego that because I don't have a text block and I'm not going to sew this to anything. But I'm going to then pull this over here. Now, because you don't want to see anything in here once the book's open, you need to locate your sewing, where you pierce for the sewing stations, just to the outside of the fold. You don't want to go through the fold with this end sheet, which is could be considered a slight drawback. So I'm just going to establish, I'm going to just do arbitrary stations here, just to give you an idea. Okay, and I forgot my awl. I will be right back. And when I do this, I find for myself, if you've got a cutting mat, you can use that. I just work into a piece of foam core. I got scraps of foam core all over the shop. So, all right, So that's looking pretty good. So now I'm going to go like I say, just to the outside of the fold. And if you've done it right, you won't see anything there when the book is opened. And you can see that the piercings go through both the end paper, the folio leaf, and the 2 layers of oak wire. So again, you've got a little bit of reinforcement there. So that is that. So I hope this helps. Any comments or questions, as always, I'm grateful and glad to be able to help. See you more. Keep going. Take the tail. Thank you. Next video will be the zigzag end paper for leather bindings. So thanks so much for coming, and I will see you at some point in the near future.